But for more analysis, we move to Mark Summers in our newsroom. To you, Mark.
Thank you very much, Mona. Yes, we are now joined from Beirut by the political analyst, Abdullah Neama. Thank you very much for joining us here on Q News. What objectives might Israel have in targeting Hezbollah infrastructure despite this one-year-old ceasefire? I believe you're not hearing me. I was talking about the objectives. What objectives might Israel have in targeting Hezbollah infrastructure?
Good evening to you and to everyone who's watching here on Q News. Of course, we know that Israel wants an escalation, and this is getting worse, especially after the Pope's visit is over to Lebanon. As you know, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi had a call with President Joseph Aoun, and he literally told him to he told them that things are very dangerous now, and that Israel wants to annex the south, and that they want to take over Lebanon as long as Hezbollah doesn't want to give up their arms under the pretext of Lebanon's security. And so I think that the U.S. gave Lebanon a window to hand over their arms until the 31st of December, and I think that we'll be facing a war, except in one situation, if Egypt actually intervenes and they try to stop this and have some negotiations. And so this is the last chance, basically. And so through negotiations in Cairo, maybe we'll reach, we want to have direct negotiations brokered by Cairo, and then maybe we'll reach an actual solution. This is as far as I know, but at the same time we know that things are also aren't going well between Israel and Iran, and now also between Israel and Lebanon. And this conflict between Israel and Iran is actually causing the Lebanese people to pay the price, and they are being harmed. And so here, and they actually, there are people wanna marry from Lebanon, women especially, to get the Lebanese nationality. But here what happened with Iran and the negotiations, I think, as I said, that we will be facing a war. But Iran really needs to stop intervening with Lebanon's affairs so that things can de-escalate. And we saw the talks in Iraq also, and they didn't stop, and things didn't escalate until they stopped the intervention. And so yes, actually Lebanon sent officials to Tehran so that they can get them to stop intervening, and that things can de-escalate in Lebanon. Lebanon cannot afford to go to war right now, especially because, as you know, what happened in the south. Israel actually attacked the south, and we have around 40 villages that have absolutely no buildings. It is an isolated zone now, and so maybe Israel will go and stay there now, using pretext of protecting Israel's north. And so yes, I think that Egypt's foreign minister came to Lebanon under Egypt's initiative to negotiate with Israel. And as far as I know that the Egyptian foreign minister has the green light from Iran when Hassan Rashad came to Lebanon, and he met with Hezbollah and with Israel, and he actually proposed some points to reach negotiations, but Hezbollah didn't accept. And so now when the foreign minister came, actually actually, as I said, he had green light from Iran. And so I think that if Hezbollah doesn't disarm or accept negotiations, then this means that Iran actually will be harming Lebanon, not benefiting them with this intervention. And Lebanon will be the one paying the price here. And so this is a very dangerous phase here. And so, yes, as we saw, President Sisi called President Joseph Aoun and told them that this is the last chance before we go to a full-on war. We don't have time, and you need to have a response by this week. And so, yes, we'll be waiting, and we'll see what happens.
So how are these repeated airstrikes affecting the stability of the ceasefire?
Of course, the resolution 1701 isn't in force anymore, and now Israel actually carried out around 15 strikes, and so all of these strikes are actually some kind of pressure on Lebanon and the Lebanese people. But yeah, as I said, the Lebanese people are the one who are harmed and who are bearing the consequences of this. And yeah, Hezbollah doesn't want to give up their arms because Israel still has control of the 5 points that they have taken over. But at the same time, Israel doesn't want to withdraw until Hezbollah disarms. And so in the middle of all of this, the Lebanese people are caught in the middle. And yeah, as you know, there are actually contradicting opinions here and approaches in Hezbollah. Half of them want to give up their arms, and then half of them doesn't want to. And so and also Iran is now intervening, as I said, and we don't want they're not really clear about what they want to do. And so and Israel now doesn't want this. They don't want Iran's intervention, and using the pretext of using the legal, and even if they actually kill them, this was they're doing. And so now we cannot just stay silent with everything that's going on. The Lebanese people are caught in the middle of all of this, and they are suffering, and we here have a double-edged weapon. We don't really have an opinion. We need to accept Israel's terms, or we'll be going to war. And so Lebanon will be paying the price. And I think that these strikes that Israel is carrying out, even though they are so broad and even though they're so intense, I think that this is just a fraction of what Israel will be doing after the Pope's visit to Lebanon is over. I think that Israel will escalate the tensions and will intensify their strikes. And so, yes, Lebanon needs to make up their mind. They need to accept Cairo's direct negotiations with Israel, or will be going to war, and Israel will be taking over the whole south, and it will take over in the sea and in land. And so, yeah, we'll be waiting.
Well, you mentioned there Hezbollah not wanting to disarm. Could these strikes have an effect on Hezbollah's military capabilities, perhaps even increasing it? I was asking you about Hezbollah's military capabilities. Could these strikes affect Hezbollah's military capabilities, perhaps increasing them? I'll move on, I think, to the next question. What are the potential humanitarian and political consequences of these strikes? What are the potential humanitarian and political consequences of these strikes?
There are continued strikes. Today we have 15 strikes in the south, but today they had intensified strikes under the pretext that they are actually targeting and attacking Hezbollah's infrastructure. And even though the Lebanese army is more ready now, but the south, especially 90% of the south, is disarmed. Actually, Hezbollah doesn't have any arms in the south, and and yeah, in the north they don't have. And Israel thinks that if Hezbollah has any arms that are near Israel's borders, this actually threatens their security. And so yeah, Israel thinks that Resolution 1701, when we reached a ceasefire, they thought that Hezbollah has actually agreed to disarm in all Lebanese land. These are the conditions of Resolution 1701, but actually Hezbollah are manipulating things, and they said we agreed to disarm only in the south. And this is why Israel still has the 5 points that they have taken, and also having Israel stay in the south is what's making Hezbollah not give up their arms. And so Israel cannot just trust Lebanon if Hezbollah still has their arms, and Hezbollah won't be giving up their arms if Israel is still taking over the 5 points. And yeah, of course, we don't like what's going on, but we need a Lebanese state here, and we need a stable one. And I think that Hezbollah is messing with Lebanon's stability. And yeah, as I said, they need to agree to give up their arms, and they were the reason that Israel entered the south and took over it, because Hezbollah still has their arms and haven't disarmed completely. And this is not deterring Israel, but it is actually bringing destruction upon Lebanon. And so we need to understand why Israel is having all of these aggressions in the south, where it's been 50 years now of wars with Israel. And so Hezbollah needs to give Lebanon the control. And yeah,
well, thank you. I'm going to have to interrupt you there, unfortunately, because we have to go back to our studio. Abdullah Nema from Beirut, thank you very much for joining us.